I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jesse.
We're Cannabis School. Having cannabis-infused conversations
with everyday people,
cannabis companies,
celebrities,
and your mom.
Welcome to the Sesh.
So what was the first car you ever had?
First car I ever had, totally remember this one. It was a Mazda 323. It was gray. My dad bought it off of a guy in the neighborhood. I think it cost, here, you should use this one. We're smoking on Pineapple Express. It is a live resin Pineapple Express. And I am very excited about that. But, so I get this car, and I didn't get my license until I was 17. And the reason why was I was lazy. I used to say, my grades weren't high enough because I didn't want to take that.
Did you just not want to go take driver's ed? Like, what was the
I don't know.
laziness that...
It was just, I had no desire. I didn't have a car at the moment. And so I was like, well, and I don't want...
You're like, what's the point?
Well, my dad wasn't really cool about any of this stuff, like borrowing a car or doing any of that. He get really fucking irritated.
Oh.
So I never...
It makes sense that you wouldn't be like, yeah, why get a license? He's going to be annoyed if I ask to borrow a car.
Well, all my friends were all like, dude, I'll just pick you up. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool.
That makes sense.
Facts, right? Cool. Fucking do this all day long, right? But then when I got it, my dad, like when I was getting close to my license, my dad's like, oh, I'll get you a car. He buys this car from this guy for like $500.
Yeah.
And back in the day, I mean, it was a decent price. It was a decent car. Problem was my dad is good with your basic mechanic shit. Tires, brakes,
oil change,
transmission flush, coolant flush, basic stuff, not crazy. He decided that he would adjust the valves.
The time, oh no.
All the timing and shit with a screwdriver, not a torque, not the tools that are made specifically. So when you turn it a certain torque, it's going to adjust it to a certain level based upon the combustion in the engine. My dad didn't understand that. He was just listening.
Oh, that's such a...
So, and you know what, dude? It was $500. I mean, at the time, he didn't give a shit. And I was driving with my buddy one day. I picked him up from Draper. My buddy lived up there, and this is like about...
So it made it up to Draper?
Oh, dude, it was totally fine. But then when we were driving back, my engine was smoking. So I pull over, and there was oil coming out. Well, the reason why oil was coming out, because I just put oil in there because the oil sensor was fucked up, and it kept asking for more oil. So I'm a kid. I don't know.
You just keep putting more and more and more.
I'm not going to tell my dad that I'm going to break his car by not putting oil in it. So it was like literally throwing up oil out of the dipstick. The dipstick was up and it was spraying everywhere. Like the engine's like, no, we've eaten too much. Fuck, why are you still feeding us? And it's like shit from like Wu-Tang Clan, an old dirty bastard. Only thing came from that. I'm gonna sew your asshole up and keep feeding you and feeding you. That's how I'm gonna kill you.
Damn, that got dark.
That's how my engine was, and so we get home and I tell my dad, and my dad's like, yeah, let's drain the oil. We drain the oil. We put oil back into it. Everything's supposed to be fine. February, it's around Valentine's Day, there is a Morp dance. You remember Morp, right? So this Valentine's dance, this woman who asked this girl, woman, that would have been really strange. This girl that asked me, she was older than me, and it was just weird because I wasn't a really popular kid in my sophomore year. I was really fucking awkward, and the only thing people knew is that I knew how to fight. That's it. Like, the cat who dresses weird and does Bruce Lee noises, don't fuck with him, but he's weird as shit. Yeah, he's over there practicing in the hallway. Like, nobody's
Jesse's in the corner making like...
Dude, I used to make other kung fu dudes, and we would practice in the hallways between classes, and nobody fucked with us. Because all you would hear at the end of the hallway is smacking and thuds.
And you think people are beating off really furiously while they're wrestling, and you're like,
well, some teachers would come down, and I'm laughing because he kicked me in the stomach, and I was like, that was a good move. How did you do that? And he showed me, and I'm like, okay, let's work on that. And we're like in our regular street clothes, and the teacher comes down, sees us, and my friend Cam turns around and he goes, can I help you? And she goes, no, and walked away because we were hitting each other. That's the way we were trained. And so
we used to box in the boys' locker room at high school because it was, you could do it at a certain time. There was no teachers.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Now there's cameras and sensors.
In the boys' locker room?
There's sensors in the boys' bathroom and locker room.
Creepy.
No, to detect nicotine or THC.
Oh, okay.
That's how my boy got busted at school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he got a cart from somebody, was in school, went to the bathroom, and when he was coming out, 2 police officers and a school counselor there like that.
Damn.
And they go, you were using THC in the bathroom. And he goes, no, I wasn't. And they're like, yes, you were. And then
Holy
they searched
cow.
him and he goes, yeah, I got these. And he was just super honest with them. And it got him off the hook, dude. He only had a $70 fine, no infraction.
He's so damn lucky.
And it's completely expunged.
Yeah.
Like
That's
they were like
nuts.
that because he was 17 when he did it.
Lucky motherfucker. Like 6 months later.
Dude, like it was 2 weeks before he turned 18.
Oh my God. Dude, he is so
Fucking
fucking
lucky.
lucky.
And I was
man.
like, dude, what are you doing? I said, one, come talk to me. Two, don't be taking shit to school, bro. He's like, I know, it was a bad move. And I'm like, nah, just learn from it.
Yeah.
But
damn. So
yeah, my first car, dude. Anyways, I go on this date, middle of the date, I had an auto shop class. We never got to do fucking anything in the auto shop. This is old guy would just tell us about engines.
oh, wow.
And then go look at his Model T Ford that he was restoring.
What? That
Yeah.
teaches you nothing.
But only one thing kind of stuck in my head, and it stuck in my head because of that night. I'm going around this bend. It's wintertime. It's February. And back at this time, Utah had snow.
Yeah.
And so I was going around this corner. You know the one I'm talking about. You get off on the exit for Provo, the on or off ramp going northbound.
Center?
The
Or
center.
university? Okay.
And then as you're going around, like you get onto the freeway and you're heading up, and then you go around this turn and you can see all the houses on the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And there used to be like a billboard right there
Yeah.
all the time. Right there is when I heard dun 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 dun, and I'm like, and I've got the Doors playing on my CD player,
Yeah.
loud. And this girl's like, yeah, I love this, because she'd eaten some lower tabs, and we just went to dinner, and she got them from my buddy, and then threw up because she didn't
Oh
eat
my
before she
gosh.
took them, and so she's high as a kite. She didn't eat anything, and she just threw up
Oh, damn.
about an hour after she took the pill. So she's really fucked up.
Yep.
She's like, blah, 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 and I'm all, dun, 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 and I'm like, oh shit. And I turn off the music, and she goes, why'd you do that? And I hear, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, okay, pull over slowly. Boom, boom, boom. And you hear my hood. My hood has a dent in it. And because it threw a rod. I get out, I open it up like I know what I'm doing. And I look in there, and it's dark, but I can see smoke. So I'm like, okay, I get back in the car. She goes, well, just try and turn it on again. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. She's like, try. And I'm like, okay. Brr, brr, brr. It's making weird
Yeah,
sounds.
It's not doing shit.
So I'm like, fuck. Long story short, the next day, I didn't even tell my dad. I went to the dance. I went and stayed at my buddy's house. And then after the next morning, I called my dad. And I'm like, hey, Dad, so my car's on the side of the road. And my dad goes, where is it, Jesse? Where'd you put it? Where'd you leave it? And I was like, it's on the side of the road on the freeway. All right. My dad was so cool about it. I thought he was going to fucking kill me. And he was like, no, it happens. We towed it home. I didn't even look into the engine. We opened it up. There's a hole the size of my fist
In the motor, like in the
at the top of
head.
the block
Yeah.
and in the bottom. It had totally blown a hole right through it like a 44 Magnum had shot it.
Jeez.
I fucking hated that car, so I didn't care.
Yeah.
What was your first car?
My parents got me a 97 Honda Accord
Cool.
right after I got my license.
Dude.
And
97?
yeah. Well, because at that point it was 2002, 2003. So it was like 6 years old. 7 years
Oh,
old.
dude,
Like,
that's
it wasn't even that
awesome.
old.
I had old cars all growing up.
Yeah, I got lucky with that, and I was racing a buddy, 2 weeks after I got my license down Geneva, and it goes from 2 lanes to 1 lane, and we're going because it's still dotted center lane, and
Good old Geneva.
we're jumping cars. He's going, and I'm going, and he goes to hop a car, and he speeds up, and he gets over, and I hop out, and I'm speeding up. I mean, you're already accelerating long before you're out. So I am up alongside this other car, and there's a semi coming towards me, meaning I have to speed up even faster to make my gap. Now I'm 2 weeks into driving, not very familiar. I've raced 4-wheelers for fun with my friends, and I've done that some, but I've never really driven a car.
Sorry.
God, I'm real good. Holy shit.
It's the flower I've been smoking lately. I got to stop doing that.
Oh. So I speed up, and at this point, I'm probably going 80, 85, 90.
On that 2-lane road?
On this 2-lane road. Speed limit's 50, 55. And because I'm new, I'm not paying attention to where I'm going in a second. And so as I get over, and I'm getting over, I realize, holy shit, he's slowed way down because right in front of him is a semi turning into Geneva.
What did you do?
Freaked out, slammed on my brakes, and just locked up and just slid and slammed into the back of his car. And
did it total it?
It totaled my car. It bent the muffler on his. He had like a, mid-90s Ford Windstar van.
Oh, yeah.
And
might as well just be nuclear. It's bulletproof at that point.
Yeah. And it totaled the Honda, like set off the airbag, smashed the front end and that. And I don't have a cell phone because my parents didn't want me to have one. This is the time,
yeah. Well, I mean, not everybody had one.
Nope. And so I have to go to the business right across, which is the wrecking yard right across the street.
I know that one.
So I go over, I think it was Dwayne's, and I was like, hey. And I just called my dad. My dad shows up. He's pissed because they just bought this like 3 weeks ago, probably. And now I've totaled it, and I have these 2 fuzzy dice hanging from the rearview mirror, and he yanks them down like, this is probably what caused you to get in an accident. And he's just pissed and, ranting and that. So
that was probably the strangest thing to say, right?
Yeah. So
and it's because of these dice, Brandon.
I know. Dice and Satan worshiping.
Yeah, totally. You like gambling, and gambling's bad.
I know.
The Lord will fix you.
It was funny. So
oh my God,
I had to surrender my license, and then because my parents are like, yeah, the insurance says they're going to charge us this much if you have a license right now,
which is probably less than what they charge right now to put a kid on your insurance.
Oh, probably.
Like you're anywhere from $250 to $350 right now to be able to put your kid on insurance per month.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Per month, and so when my oldest is like, yeah. Can I get my
car
license?
Payment?
Can I get my license? I'm like, yeah. Can you pay $300 a month for insurance
for your car? Yeah,
just to drive.
Yeah.
When he's 18, so it's different now. But I just told him, I was like, dude, legit. Like, you just let me know, and I'll pay half. But no, like he's a really good driver. Like, and the cool thing with this is so fucking stupid, dude. In Utah, and maybe it's different in other places, but in Utah, if you go through driver's ed, all that shit, you can take the test, right? And then you have to take the road test.
Yeah.
When you're 19, you just have to take the test.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
That's it. Like 19. Not 18, 19. So at 19, you could take it. And so I just looked at Max. I'm like, just wait. Yeah. He gets so nervous when he takes tests that he'll go in and take he's taken it like 6 times and keeps failing it by 1 point.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I'm like, what's going on? And he just goes, well, I go back. And I'm like, that's your problem.
He second guesses because it's like, and that was my problem is usually like math, all these things in my mind, the number would pop in and go here. And then I'm like, wait, but like, what if? And then I pick a different one. And then I find out, oh, it was my first instinct.
Well, and that a lot has to do with like, I think it goes all the way back to our upbringing. Like I knew why my son Max was like, Dad's going to be pissed because I used to get pissed. But I'm like, why didn't you study? And all I said, I was like, man, maybe right now is not your time. Well, that's okay. I was like, you could spend far less money on gas and insurance, but just Uber.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I'm like, no. Think about it. You don't have to pay for insurance. You have to pay for gas. You don't have to pay for upkeep. He's all upkeep. I'm like, you think these things just run for fucking ever, motherfucker? I'm like, no. I said, do you see what I work? Dude, working on my wife's van yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I total the time I probably put in about 4 hours on an oil change.
Damn. Yeah.
But the reason why was all the weird shit with Chrysler. I fucking hate Dodge. I hate Dodge. My daughter said she wanted to buy a Dodge truck when she's older. And I said, you know what? Don't do that because I will only have 4 sons. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I won't have a daughter after that. You can't own a Dodge. You can own a Ford even though I know it's going to fucking break on you.
Yeah.
But don't own a Dodge. And dude, like all of that, I was like, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to do that on your own. I said, so...
Did you know how to work on... When did you start learning how to work on cars?
Basically with your brother. Like, okay, I could do basic shit. Like, I could change a tire. I could do brakes. Yeah. But I couldn't do, like, mechanical work. And then your brother, honestly, it came...
He taught me so much.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And he would... Like, here's the funniest thing about your brother. One, he's a brilliant mechanic. He can hear it and know exactly what the problem is.
Yeah.
The other part, though, is that Curtis has this really unique ability with cars. It's a magic trick. He always has extra bolts.
parts, yeah.
And extra parts.
Yep.
Well, they didn't need that anyways. Or that's a stupid clip. I would hear that all the time. I'm like, we need to replace it? He goes, those are expensive. We didn't need it anyways. Like, it was so
Well,
funny.
it's because to buy a whole thing of clips was fucking expensive, and you're like,
at the
do I
time?
really care for that clip?
Totally.
It wasn't like go on Amazon, buy a set for $5,
No.
$10. It was like, no, you have to go get
to Autos.
or get them from the dealer because they're like,
Oh, the dealer's the worst.
and then they're fucking expensive there. So you're just like, is it worth it for a couple clips? No, like,
Well, dude, it was crazy. Like, the first time I worked with your brother on a car, like, really wasn't like a simple thing. It was the intake manifold. And we had it was from Terry, Ford Windstar.
oh dang,
And that fucking van was a piece of shit, but I loved it because it was doing more than we just had the little Honda. Wife and I got married. We bought a brand new Honda Civic, standard. She couldn't drive it because it terrified her.
can she drive standard?
No.
damn.
I tried to train her. She got at the time she had really bad anxiety.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until later retrospect. But I took her to Payson, and I was like, dude, we drove all around. Like, I
Because
was
even here wasn't bad. Then.
not at the time. What scared her was hills, and I'm like, I
Oh,
get it.
yeah.
I get it. Like on 1600 North in Orem, you know when you get off and you're going up towards State Street,
Yeah.
and it's like this.
Oh, yeah.
It
Well, it's
used to
like
scare the shit out of me.
Hill.
Yeah.
Erkenbrack's Hill was the worst. I was like, that stop sign in the middle of the hill, and you're like, oh fuck, and then someone's like right on your ass. as
Oh,
you're
yeah.
doing it, and you're like, ah.
This is why we're supposed to have a car distance away from each other, motherfucker,
Yeah.
because in case I have to roll. But
But once I got used to it, it was just fine. It
Yeah,
was just
it's
more of like annoying of like, why are you this close? If I wasn't a good driver, I would be hitting you at this moment.
well, and then who would be at fault? The person behind you.
Yeah. Like, oh, they were tailing me, and I pushed into my clutch. Like,
It rolled a little bit.
just,
and
yep. And
He was right there.
okay. But I haven't driven a standard. The last time I drove one was Alex's new Lotus. That's probably been 2 years, 3 years.
It has been a while since I've driven. I mean, I still remember.
Oh yeah, it's
I mean,
like
you'll never forget.
no, it's like riding a bicycle.
Oh,
or a
100%.
motorcycle. It's just
Your body just takes over. But it's different now, man, because when you were talking about like Geneva, I was thinking about behind Savers. Do you know why? Because in the back, their parking lot used to be really fucked up, and they had this giant speed bump. But the speed bump kind of just kept dipping in front of it, and so instead of a speed bump, it turned into a ramp.
oh
So we took this VW bus, old one, like the 1970s
okay.
ones,
Yeah.
and we got that motherfucker going so fast, as fast as we could, like
Yeah.
45 miles an hour in the
Right.
back of there, midnight on a Tuesday. And we jumped that motherfucker, dude. We would take cars
That's
and jump them.
hilarious.
And whenever when you would break something,
Mm-hmm.
that's when we take off because then somebody would call the cops. But dude,
Yeah.
we were right by the Orem Police Department, and we were doing this.
That's hilarious.
We used to do shit like that all the time.
When I worked at training table, there was times that we not very often.
It's down by the 8, right?
Yeah.
Were you working there when it get like was Friday nights like crazy, Saturday nights
Yeah.
crazy?
Oh,
I
it was
bet.
amazing. I loved it though. That was one of my favorite jobs. I loved the people I work with. I loved how fast paced it was. And then I found that I was really good at managing efficiency and like everything. And so I was able to get us out of there like earlier than anyone else.
I remember you told me that.
And yet I still felt like I had a lot of fun, dicked around, did all sorts of shit, but we got it clean, got it done, and got out of there. But I really loved it. But we had the serving trays that food were on.
Oh yeah, the little plastic ones.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And we would take those and we would go up to the Kohl's parking lot up over by where Gold's Gym used to be.
Yeah.
Right here. And you'd stick those under the back tires of your car and you pull your e-brake. And then you drive around and it's like drifting because your whole back end just everywhere.
Because it's front wheel.
Yep. And your so your front just spin and your back ones are like on ice because they're
Yeah.
just sliding everywhere. And so
Yeah,
you're
because they're
just,
not turning.
so your back wheels, like you would just slide all over
Oh,
until
dude,
it
I
would
never
burn
thought of
through.
that.
And then all of a sudden it would be like, catch, and then you drive off. And it was like,
Just fuck them up until they had no more plastic.
we wouldn't do it with a ton because we were like, yeah, we don't want to burn. But every once in a while we'd take a couple
Dude,
of trays and just go
Could
do
you
that.
imagine getting those old school, thick ass tin or aluminum cookie sheets
Baking sheets.
and put that under the amount of sparks that'd be flying.
So hot though.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I wonder if that would like melt your rubber or anything over time.
That would be
Like,
funny as shit. Like it just like
It
your
might wear
tires go
through the
like
metal
this
eventually
and then
before.
just flat part of the tire from
Right?
melting.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, that'd be fucking cool though. But I remember doing like I had a friend used to work for Papa John's and he would do delivery in high school. And this is like when Papa John's was like really kicking off.
Yeah.
And dude, that guy would drive like 80, 90 miles an hour around in Orem, which is like
Yeah.
typical suburban
25 to 35, maybe
Max.
45 if you're 40
on the
40
state
on
street.
state. 45 in certain areas actually.
Well, it was funny because like even on state, like it used to be like 35, 40 that was good. Now everybody's driving around like 50, 60 miles an hour. Cops don't give a fuck unless they're
Or
there.
they're like 20, 25. State streets are horrible.
Yeah, it used to be different, man, but it just like oh fuck, what was I saying?
Talking about Orem and driving around. And
Oh yeah, so Aaron, this guy, he was delivering pizzas, dude, and he made so much money as a kid because he would floor it. He had an Acura TL. I mean, back then it was like a sports car, but he paid it off from pizzas.
That's hilarious.
And he would drive so insanely fast, like the hills up there by the
Indian Hills over by the
mountain, and how those neighborhoods are set up,
Oh yeah.
like big drops, huge
Yeah.
hills. Dude, that's what he was going 80 down those in dark. And he's like, "Wah, wah," and I'm like, why are you going so fast? And he said, because I'll get like a $5 tip. And he would get there and literally slam on his brakes. And he would get out and go over there. And the guy came out and he looks at his car and he came back. And I was like, what'd you get? And he goes, dude, he gave me $10. I'm like, how much was he's like, oh, he only paid like $25 for pizza.
Yeah.
He ordered like 3 pizzas. And I was like,
That's
dude,
hilarious.
3 pizzas for $25. That'd be a cool thing. And dude, it was
Wouldn't
that, man. That's all I grew up with. It was speed demons
Mm-hmm.
or people doing stupid shit.
Yeah. I mean, Alec and I were driving to Wendover. Miss Wendover. We were driving to Wendover.
Oh yeah,
Alec was behind
past
me.
the salt flats.
Yep. Alec was behind me in his car. I'm in front leading, and I've got a sunroof. And I've set my cruise. We're 95, something like that, 100. And this is back in the day where you have these stupid little Bluetooth things that are on your ear.
Mm-hmm.
And I decide that I'm going to have the passenger hold the wheel because it's cruising. We're on the straightaway for fucking ever. There's nothing there. And I decide I'm going to stand up out of the sunroof and moon him. So, yeah, I know. So,
I already know where this is going.
so I stood up and I mooned him, and the headset flew off. And it landed on his window, like his windshield, and caught with his windshield wipers. And so his passenger was able to like reach out and get my Bluetooth and snag it and put it back in.
What was it? A jawbone?
Probably. It's just been so long.
You remember those?
Yeah,
They were big.
they were big.
Like I had a charging dock. It looked like an egg.
But I was always like, there's been so many stages in life that I've been helping my parents build their businesses or working with them on their businesses. And at that time, it was like, God, doing construction stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to pick up my phone to answer it. It's going to be a pain in the ass. I don't want to have to hold it. And having that was way more convenient.
Isn't that
And
funny?
so-
Because back then you would have been like, oh, look at Mr. Businessman.
I know.
Like, no, I just don't want to fucking hold this phone.
I know.
You
That
remember
was it.
those conversations? Like the sweat that would build in your elbow and on the side of your face for long conversations, especially with a girl. So you're doing this all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Now it's
Switching. I know.
kids have no idea.
Home phones, dude.
I actually missed that though.
Get off the phone. I need to call someone.
No, the worst was there where you were online
On the internet.
and then
you pick it
somebody
up,
gets on the phone.
Ding, ding. Oh,
Your dad yelling, "You get off that stupid
the
internet."
porn's not loading. Get off the phone.
How funny, dude. Back in the day, porn was like loading up. It could do like 30
I
seconds
can
to load up an
only
image.
imagine.
And then there's a buffer problem. Days.
Line.
And you're just staring. No? But it's just like, it's so funny. But I love back then. I think it's funny. My kids will ask me, like, what was it like? And I'll tell them. And they're like, that sounds so much cooler than now. And
I
I'm
feel
like,
like it was simpler.
I think it was
and I
just more connection.
Appreciated it.
We were more connected.
Oh, yeah, to people.
Yeah. I mean,
And
we
things.
there's false
Not
connection
shit, but-
all around us all the time. and it sounds good, but everybody's just lonely.
Yeah. Well, you notice if we go out, and maybe back at a different time it was newspapers that everyone stared at, but there were more people. Like maybe it was when they were sitting down on a bus or something, but there's more people interacting out in society, at the store. You had to talk to your cashier. You couldn't go through a self-checkout. Like all of these things where you just had to interact.
You know what I would be doing, man? I mean, I would be investing into making toilet seats more comfortable but not expensive. And here's why I say that. Do you remember when you would, I mean, you still do it now. You don't take your phone to the bathroom. You know, a lot of people take their phone to the bathroom. I take my phone to the bathroom, and I had to stop doing that. And I'm like, your ideas can wait. Like, honestly, it's just like constantly, and I'll be like, ooh, and I'll research this, and then, you know, I'll get up, and it'll be like I've been squatting all day, and my legs hurt.
Sleep or
and
something.
Like, what am I doing? So now I have to just go, no, don't take it with you. Don't even have it in your pocket. Just throw it on the bed. Throw it on the counter, throw it on the table. Don't take it with you. It was funny, too, because that kind of came to me from talking to Pete. You remember my friend Pete? And Pete was just like, he's so funny, man. He downloads apps and buys things to help him to be more productive. And the only thing that he's doing is helping these companies get more money by falsely advertising that you can be more productive. He said he has an app that keeps him from going to his wasting time apps. And I'm like, why is it wasting time? He's like, well, I shouldn't be looking at that. I'm like, why shouldn't you be looking at that? And he goes, well, because I'm supposed to be working. Well, were you working? He's like, well, I already got it done. I'm like, so you feel guilty? He's like, yes. Interesting. Why do you feel guilty? It's just your time. Why? And I was like, yeah, Brandon has the same thing. He's just like, if I'm not doing something productive, then I'm not valuable. I don't feel good about myself, so I got to do something. And it becomes subconscious. And he was like, yeah, that's what it feels like. It's subconscious. But it's funny. He's like, well, I've got this app that will, anytime I want to go to YouTube, it will reroute it to LDS.org. And I'm like, why do you do that? And he goes, because I don't want to be there. And he goes, what's there? He's like, oh. He's like, and I'm like, but it's funny because you're LDS, and he goes, do you go look at the LDS? I'm like, no, I have no business there. And he goes, right. He's like, I'm not that type of Mormon. He's like, so I don't do that. And I'm like, oh, so it tells you to not do it. And he goes, yeah. He's like, what do you do? And I said, I will make an intentional fast. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, I will say to myself the night before, I'm like, you know what? You could go without YouTube for a day. And it's on my integrity. I'm not trying to make sure I'm being efficient with my time. I know that I'm doing something that is not just good for me. We have to yell at our kids. If they watch shorts, turn off the mind trash. Find something else. You want to be on YouTube? Fine. Learn something. Think about like what you want to learn. Phoenix likes watching wrestler stuff. Harmless. Cool. The kid is so active. So I'm like, yeah. He loves playing with toys because he's a fucking child. Great.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Do it, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's like Addie. I love that she has sometimes that she'll watch some stuff on YouTube, but then she draws a ton. Or she's always going out playing with friends and like roller skating or rollerblading or longboarding. And like we jumped on the tramp for hours. Oh, fuck yeah. I love that you're a kid. I love that you still go do that. Like, don't be on your phone or on like consoles or TV all the time.
Yeah.
Go be a kid. Go live a life of actually having a fucking life. Like, video games are great. I loved my parents were crazy strict. We didn't get a console till my sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
And then it was, hey, you get 1 hour a day on Fridays after your schoolwork's done if you've got good grades, and Saturdays, because you don't do it on the Lord's Day. So you got 1 hour on Saturdays and 1 hour on Fridays if your grades were good.
Isn't that funny, dude? I love that. Like, you can't play games on the Lord's Day. Like, every other day, the Lord's like, you know what? You've been playing GTA 5 and killing hookers all week, but just not on Sunday.
Or it's like my grandparents, my dad's house now, they always had a pool there.
Yeah.
You could not swim on Sundays.
Why?
Because you don't be in the water. It's kind of like the missionaries. You can't be in the water because Satan's in the water.
Which is funny. I mean, we can go into that. Yeah,
but it's the same idea.
Sad.
So, like, none of my cousins were allowed to swim in it. No one was allowed to. It was like, well, it's Sunday. Why? God wouldn't want you to have fun in a pool that's what's wrong with you?
It's so funny because now they're subconsciously associating it with a negative thing, right? Like, which is so funny that
Weird.
Well, I mean, it's almost anything with parents, right? Like certain things that they're like, no, when I was a kid, that was bad, and so it's still bad.
Yep.
Like, I mean, it's like that guy I told you about. I helped him out with some edibles because he couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I mean, if I could, I would be like, dude, take a couple puffs off this pen, go to bed. Like, instantly go to bed. Like, you'll feel it. You don't use this. Take one puff, go to bed. You wake up in the middle of the night, take another puff, go back to bed. But I know he wouldn't. This is a slow onset, so I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's start with Eddie's.
Yeah.
And, dude, it was cool because he went again to
why is this illegal?
Why is this illegal? And then when I told him, I'm like, okay, let's get you figured out, and then let's go to the dispensary. I'll get you a card. He goes, what's that process like? I'm like, don't worry, I have a doctor. He's just going to go, yeah, bring him over and we'll meet.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got both of your knees replaced, so you qualify.
Process. Yeah.
And he's like, okay. And I'm like, but the one thing I want you to work on is stop thinking that this is bad and stop thinking you're bad.
For using it. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, it's not, I said, this is just as essential as apples, as meat, as water. I said, if you use it for I said, the same with the poppy plant. The poppy plant has been used for pain relief and for helping with depression and stuff like that for as long as they can go back. Milk of the poppy. And you get that and you're going to feel pretty damn good. Like, but it
doesn't mean you have to turn it into heroin and that you have to become a heroin addict.
Dude, like, I mean...
But there is also the benefits in,
Well, like laudanum. Laudanum in the 1800s.
I've heard of that, but I could not tell you what it is.
So laudanum was a opium derivative. It was
fucking
we got chairs. Oh, man, this thing makes me feel like I'm, like, sliding all over the place. I have to, like, brace my foot into that thing.
Jesse moves all over.
Yeah, I'm a very movie guy, but at the same time, like, I feel like I'm sinking all the time.
I just put it into the corner and put this little thing behind me, and it kind of holds me nicely. So
that's why, like, those chairs we saw, I want something like that that's, like, just supports your back, but it's comfortable.
All right, so we got a little elevated the other week and wandered the mall, and we wandered to RC Willie. I really like doing high IKEA Sundays. Do you guys have a store or a place that you like to get elevated? Maybe it's nature.
You know what I don't like?
Walking in nature.
Best Buy. I can't go there.
Yeah.
Or any commerce, really. Like, I can go to a Barnes & Noble and have a great time looking at comic books.
Interesting. I don't know if you read them?
So, yeah. So, here's one of the cool ones. So, when my son was really young, Max, I think he was like 5, 6, we used to go to the library, Provo Library, and they have like a massive library. Mm-hmm. And they had one of the largest collections of graphic novels. Oh. And so what it is, the comic book series will run for a certain amount, like about a story. And then these books will be a compilation of all of those comic books, but in chronological order. Okay. And so it's like one big story. And the first one we got was The Court of Owls. It's a Batman one. And all I thought was, I'm like, I hate all the Batman movies because they fucking blow compared to these, because they were dark and twisted. They had this, they were going to do it. The Court of Owls, it was these, they were stronger than Batman, and they were more sadistic, and they were better trained than he was. So these Court of Owls tried to recruit Batman in this series. And because I do voices, I would do voices in there. So if I talk like Batman, my voice was lower, trying to sound like the video game, right? And then I can do Joker just fine if I let my voice work, right? So I do that with my kid, and he loved it.
Yeah.
And we went through 6 of these books. Like, they're thick, and they're illustrated, but the stories are so rich. And I'm like, these are better than books. And I was like, why aren't we making the movies? Like, Under the Red Hood is about Jason Todd, one of the Robins, dies. Joker kills him. And when he kills him, who was it? Ra's al Ghul, yeah, but he was a very prominent figure in there. He was he lived forever because he had the Lazarus pit. So anytime that he would start getting older, he would take a bath in the Lazarus pit, and it would restore his youth and his powers. But he knew that Batman was just destroyed because Jason was killed. And then it goes years later, and crime and Batman's fighting all these guys. But then a new guy shows up, and he's got this hard shell helmet, and he uses guns, and he kills everybody. And he starts killing all the bad guys. And there's a cool scene where he, like, these drug deal, like they have in the Batman movies, like all the bad guys are huddled in there, and the Joker comes in and tells him, he's like, I'm going to take half of all of you have. All right. He goes into that. And this one is like, he throws a fucking bag of heads onto the table, and he goes, yeah, that's your competition. They didn't want to work with me. Either you work with me or you're going to be with them. Which one you want to do? And they're like, yeah, we'll work with you. But you find out that who he is, and that Ra's al Ghul felt so bad for Batman that he took dead Jason Todd to the Lazarus pit to revive him. But he went insane because he wasn't supposed to be alive. He was dead.
Oh, damn.
Like Joker, and they have a whole like a animated movie of this one. And it's so Joker beats him to death with a fucking crowbar.
Oh, damn.
Barely leaves him. He goes, oh, Pumpkin, I think you collapsed a lung. He's like fucking with him. And then he's about to get to the door, and he turns around because it's locked, and he sees a bomb counting down, and his eyes are like, fuck me. Like, but he goes insane, and then he comes back, and he's trying to do what he said that Batman should have done. He should be killing these guys because they're going to keep coming back. And because Batman wouldn't kill these guys is why he's dead. And so it's like this realization. And I was like, why isn't this a movie? Fuck all these other ones, especially The Dark Knight Returns.
Have you seen the Batman meets the Penguin?
Yeah.
And he's like, this is a gun, Dr. Fishy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's just how it has to go.
Dude, it's
killing them all.
This Batman, like another Batman, Return of Batman, it's a Batman in his 60s, and he's retired, and nothing is going on, and he has to come out of retirement, and it's fucking cool because he's old, and he's not doing well.
Interesting.
And it is by far one of the most revered Batman comic books of all time. There's part 1, part 2. All the movies use that one as part of it. The Superman versus Batman, 100%. Batman creates a suit to fight Superman. Oh, dude, it's cool because they follow it. Like, Batman builds this strong suit and then buys all of the, what's that green shit that he's... Kryptonite. He buys as much of the kryptonite and weaponizes it, aerosols it, and he beats the fucking shit out of Superman. But because he was really smart to come up with it. But that's what I loved about, like, a lot of people didn't like Superman versus Batman, but I loved it because Batman wants to kill Superman because he's an alien. He killed so many people here trying to fight for us. He's going to kill us. I'm going to kill him before he kills the rest of us, and becomes obsessed with killing them. And it's so cool because it's dark. In that one, he kills guys. He's got his bat wing, and he just mows them down with gunfire. His Batmobile fucking hoses him. He's this Batman that breaks mentally. He's just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about it. I can and I will. And he's just evil in some sense. And the separation between Bruce Wayne and Batman are bigger. So that's why I love those stories. And I like you're like, I don't know if I'd ever read one, but one of the cool things is that the stories are richer. They're more developed. The characters mean something.
Than like a movie or what?
Oh, by far.
Oh, okay. I thought you were meaning like other books or what, and I'm like...
No. All books are their own little worlds. I'm saying like with movies, and that's where a lot of the games have inspiration today that are really good. It's from books.
Even last night, I was sitting there, and I was like, oh man, do I play a different game? Do I try a game? And I'm like, none of these really seem to be pulling in that interest. Nothing has that world of creativity in that. So I was like, maybe I just read a book. Maybe I do that because I finally finished For Whom the Bell Tolls by Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, how'd you like it? I've listened to that.
It was good.
That's a great one.
I liked it, but the end, I just expected that to happen. And then when it happened, I was actually like tearing up and stuff. And I was like, fuck, that sucks. Like I expected it to happen. Damn it.
Yeah.
But it was very good. I haven't read a book in that era in a minute. Because I want to say was it written in the 40s? Maybe it's...
No.
Hey
Eckhart
Siri,
Tolle.
when was For Whom the Bell Tolls by Eckhart Tolle written?
I want to say it's either 50s or 60s.
1939.
Oh, wow.
So,
And see, that's what's really cool when you talk about books over there that can stand the test of time. Those, especially philosophical books like his, man, it's quite impressive. It's quite
Yeah.
impressive because it still holds, and the reason why, because it was seated in a real understanding, a real good perspective.
yeah. There's a lot of books I found, even from, I guess, 40s through like the 80s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good writing. The Alchemist was a fantastic book. That was
Yeah.
a very interesting perspective. Of course, you have to go with like the 1984. That's always a really good one.
Did you know 1984? This would be really cool for you, just entertainment wise. I'm actually doing it now. I read through the book. I need to read back through it again. I think it's just because of a modern sense, and it's so time wise, where it's even written for the future.
Yeah.
Which even feels like it's further back, and then it's like I honestly think of it like that game Dishonored. It's like a steampunk.
Okay, yeah.
So that's what I did in my mind. But dude, they have a fully acted out audiobook free on Audible.
Oh, that's cool. Interesting.
Andrew Garfield plays the main character, and then Tom
okay.
Hardy plays the voice of Big Brother, and it's
Oh.
so good.
That's cool.
Yeah, because Tom Hardy has a pretty good range, but he talks really low.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
cool.
it's a cool. I started listening to it like for fun when I'm working around the house, and it's really. I mean, dude,
It's been a handful of years since
Oh.
I read it. But
dude, listen
it's
to
such a
it.
good book.
Listen to, because they have atmosphere, sound effects, music. It's really rich, but it would be good to read along with, because then it just creates the world that much more.
I'm very immersive when I get into the book that
Mm-hmm.
like I have the whole world in visual and but I can imagine with your creative mind it's very
It's nuts sometimes.
Yeah.
But the only time I don't, the time I can turn it off and I appreciate it, and this is what I read mostly: business, marketing, behavioral science, psychology.
Oh yeah, no, there's no like it's not in there.
No, it's weird because I used to love fiction. Like one of my favorite books to read were the Splinter Cell novels that I would pick up at a
Oh.
Walmart.
I never actually read those. I played the games.
Dude, they're
I
great.
never read them.
Because you can hear Sam Fisher's voice and you see
Oh,
him
that's
moving. Like
Yeah.
the coolest thing. You know his wrist thing that he has of the computer?
It's been so long since I played them.
So he has this thing that connects to his headquarters in real time.
okay.
And the cool thing is it describes underneath it. So Sam is a combat veteran. And he was CIA before he did that. And before that, he was a Navy SEAL. So, and they really, these books like fully flesh out his history. So you know a lot about it. But the cool thing is his watch. So he has the ability to go to sleep pretty much anywhere because he's efficient with his mind and his energy, because he's always on solo missions. So he's underneath this bridge and he gets him set up into a place that's totally fine. And he goes, and he's able to control himself so much that he says, sleep. And he would go to sleep. And how he would wake up was cool. Inside this kind of like apparatus that goes around his wrist, the alarm clock rubbed here on the vein, and it kept pushing to slowly bring his heart rate up so he would wake up naturally. And I was like, what a cool thing. And now my mind's like, could we make it? Because it's so cool. Like, what would be the intricacies of it? But it was cool because this whole world, like, you could, because you played the game, you could really contextualize it in your mind. Like, there was one where he was in Chernobyl, and he talks about the author is just talking about the shrubbery and all this stuff, and dude, this guy's banging everybody. Like, he's like James Bond, but way cooler. Like, he ain't got M or anything like that. He's on his own.
And he's not in an Aston Martin, so he is cooler.
No. That guy's riding around in a fucking a Fiat, old beat up Fiat.
Fiat 500.
No. This guy found a Yugo. He found one of those old Yugos, and he's driving around it, and you're like, I could kick this guy's ass.
God, what's that 3-wheeled car?
Oh, yeah, the one with Mr. Bean hates, and he always pushes him over. Like, I love that, dude. The little dump trucks. But, dude, it seriously, like, the books, I used to love those books, and now I just can't get into them because I need to place my mind in a different ego state to allow myself to be, because I'm like you on that side where you're like, work. If I'm not learning something, I feel like I'm stupid. And that's dumb. That is dumb. Because I don't feel like I'm going to be smart unless I listen or learn something. But
you play a lot of video games.
Yeah, that's my, but I don't, but video games do not create the worlds that books do.
No, they don't.
And that's what
I've struggled with, is I'm like,
books
I want to have this really creative world or something that like has this amazing story, and I keep looking for it in like a movie or a game.
Well, let me put it to you this most visceral way, because I love to do that. Playing video games is like jacking off, right? It really is. When you get done playing 4-6 hours of video games,
4 to 6 hours of beating off.
That's 4 to 6 hours of beating off. And, you know, it's like, I love how Joe Rogan had said it a long time ago. He's like, nobody is ever excited about jerking off after that going, whoo, got that done off my list today. Now I can go get shit done. Nobody does that, right? It's just like, it's just part of it. But he's like, playing video games that long is like, you just feel awfully like, what am I doing with my life? And no, it's honestly like, how big of a mistake would you be if you jerked off for 8 hours straight? Like, be like, it hurts. It's just sore. Only thing that comes out is dust. And so you're just done. That's the way I started to look at it.
I feel like it would just be gasping. Like,
it starts inverting. It's like, stop touching me.
Yeah.
But a book,
like fake's dead.
If you have a really good game, which is really, really rare, but if you have a good story developed, involved game, like, you don't want to stop playing it because it has like Splinter Cell Blacklist. That was a great game.
Oh, yeah.
It was so long and so much fun. We don't get games like that anymore.
No.
But books, there are massive amounts of books, and books are like sex. They're fulfilling. When you finish one, you never go, what a waste of my time.
Yeah, they're rich. They're way more developed. Like, there's so much more to it, and like the story is there because that's truly what it is. It's just a story,
dude.
And so it's not all this other shit
100.
in there. And I'm like, that's what I'm keep craving. And instead of looking for it in these others, I just need to go back to the books and go
100%.
Fuck the game, fuck the movie. Like, sometimes it's great. I love playing
it's just
with you.
in its place. Yeah,
I love other things, but most of the time, like last night when I sat down, I'm like, I don't want to play any of these games right now.
Well,
I just have no desire to do it. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, well, I could watch a show. I'm like, I have no desire to watch a show.
I have felt that same way. I'm like, what?
And I'm like, I could go study something and learn. I'm like, but I don't need to. I've spent all of this time already, so couldn't this just be a moment of enjoyment? And yeah, I find that I still really enjoy learning things. And so then there's times that but my problem is, if I go into a learning mode and it's 10 o'clock at night, my mind is not going to want to shut off.
3.
I'm going to want to stay up and keep thinking. And so I go, if I start this, I know where it's going to go. And so it's better for me to go, don't start that. Don't do that now. Do that earlier when it's time. And then just say, fuck it, stop. And set this time for that. So that's, I was like, all right, let's get a book.
Well, and learning as it can be just as habitual and become a problem, like working out. So when I started tea, it's been cool because I don't feel the same way. I don't get sore as often, but I'm seeing a lot of results. I want to go every day because of that. But I know that if I don't allow my body to recover, I really won't get all of it out of it. And that's why I've been shifting my mindset with learning, is that I can learn, but I need to allow that to soak in.
Retain it.
Yeah. And I can't just keep adding more upon more upon more.
Because your brain doesn't have time to soak up what you've actually gone over. It's like overload and continuous overload. And I think that's our problem, is like we're continuously always wanting that more and like this next and then.
Well, it's chasing another dragon, dude. Like I'm addicted to that now. I really am. All of us have addictive behaviors, but it's a weird one because it's not necessarily self-destructive, but it is a time killer. It will eat away at your time.
Yeah, hours and hours would just disappear, and you're like, oh, fuck. It's way late. And
Yeah, yesterday, dude, I got caught in this, like I'm so glad I was talking to you. I was working on my car and all this stuff because I wasn't building anything. I wasn't learning anything. And I got work shit that I'm doing. But I'm like, yeah, dude, but the night before you were doing this until 8 o'clock at night with and just all your ideas, you were just talking to chat and saying, hey, put these all into ideas and put them into boxes, and then I want to revisit them. Just listen to me and categorize them for me. And it was great, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but I was supposed to play like some Switch games with my son. And because I was so caught up in that mode, I told him, hey, come get me. And he's like, well, you were busy.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, come talk to me no matter what. I said, I said, how big of a dick will I be if I'm like, nah, I'm doing something else?
Yeah, but he still might see that and go, well, he's told me that, but is he going to, in that moment, always step out of there?
And I've told him that. And I said, look, the only way you'll know is if you ask. And I said, you'll never know unless you try. And they go, okay. And so my little one, he came over and he's like, hey, Dad, can we wrestle? I'm like, yeah. I was like, let's get everything ready. He's like, we'll wrestle at 9. He's like, done. I said, tell me what wrestler I am. And he goes, okay. And he goes off and does his thing. I started doing that more where I'm like, hey, it's okay to come talk to me. I understand for years I was really upset, but this is a lot of bullshit I was trying to deal with when I was a kid. So I'm trying to help lessen that with you. So I understand if you feel scared with me or don't want to say something to me, but just know it's okay. And if you want to tell your mom to tell me, that's fine too. And now they're actually telling me. They come up and tell me what's going on. Hey, I got to talk to you, but because of the new job and all that shit, like they feel like, okay, well, that's more important than me. And I let them know, all of them last night. I'm like, that's not more important than you. Just know that I get very hyperfixated. I have what others would consider deficiency, but it is a superpower. But with every superpower, there is cons. And there's things that you won't be able to do. Like Superman could never have a baby with a regular woman because if she got a suntan, the kid would kick right through her stomach. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter just goes, what? But I'm like, yeah, see, but that's me. I'm always in go mode. But if you tell me to stop and say, hey, just us. Oh, yeah. I'll put my phone away. I have no problem doing that. Actually, I feel great doing it. But it's this compulsion. It's compulsive. It's not even to be on the phone. Like now, I don't even, dude, I deleted Netflix.
Were you using a lot of Netflix?
I used to randomly, but I'm like, deleted. And I told my wife, the only reason why we're keeping it is because of Phoenix, because he watches Raw. It's the cheapest WWE package you could ever get before. Like, because before it's like $30 or something like that every time. Now it's like $14. And he is the only reason why Netflix is actually viable right now. And when he doesn't like it, it's gone. Hulu, gone. Like, my wife got it back because the kids watch the cartoons on there. I'm like, cartoons are great. As long as they're not full of human drama. Shit. Yeah. Right? And so that's been cool. But I love what you said there, man, because it's like, yeah, they could be scared of it. And you were exactly right. They were like, I don't want to bother them. Because that's how we were raised. Don't talk to me unless I have time.
Or it's like, oh, they're busy doing this, and yeah, they're working, and you can go ask them, but they're probably going to go, I'm busy, I'll do it after.
Or don't talk to me when I'm on the phone.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And the problem is I've always got this thing in my ear because I'm listening to music, I'm listening to books.
So then it's his dad on the phone. Dad must be on the phone.
No, I just told him, I said, come get me. I don't care. I put it this way to him. I was like, if there is an EMP that hits the earth from a solar flare, guess what? None of this shit's going to work. So we better start liking each other now. So when shit gets real, if it ever did, we're going to be okay. Because a lot of people are not going to be okay. A lot of people are going to literally die.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's...
Well, even like the amount of time that we all spend on our screens. How many of us, of our kids, of our partners spend 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day or more on our screens? Not working.
No, not creating.
So even if the EMP comes, that's still how many hours that we're spending on that screen. And then it's instantly like, well, shit, but that's the reality that we've created and built and lived in. And then we're like, instantly, it would 100% change. And I think tons of people would die.
I think
because they really wouldn't know what to do, and
Right.
they go into crazy depressive spirals and go, why do I exist?
Well, a really good book to a fiction book. First read it and then listen to it. And listen to it while you're reading it because it has like 12
Can't
actors.
do that.
Oh, dude, this one's awesome.
Either I have to, if I listen to a story, it has to be at 1.5 or double speed because...
Oh, no, you would love it.
Yeah.
Still, even at that. I used to listen to it. It's World War Z.
Okay.
The movie was nothing like the book. The book is supposed to be 10 years after the zombie apocalypse. So it's a guy who's a reporter going all over the world asking people how it was for them during the zombie apocalypse. And it's the craziest book of stories. Everything from personal, a bodyguard that the way he describes it was for Paris Hilton at the time.
Okay.
Because he called it the whore with the chihuahua. He made fun of Bill Maher in there, saying the political cocaine addict.
Okay.
But what was really cool is that in that story, when they do like a full like reading, Henry Rollins, if you know who Henry Rollins is, look him up. You would really like him. He used to be the lead singer of Black Flag, the punk rock band back in the day, and then it was Henry Rollins' band, and then now he's a Rhodes Scholar. He does readings and he just travels all over the world and gets these experiences and writes about them. And people love hearing him. He sells out places and he doesn't give a fuck. He cares nothing about. He's just like, I did a crazy life and I have all this money. I'm going to live my life and see this entire planet. And that's what he does. He goes off to Vietnam or Thailand just for months.
Yeah.
Doesn't tell anybody.
Interesting.
And this guy, like, why did I bring him up? Shit.
Book, World War Z.
Yeah, World War Z. He's the voice of the bodyguard. But what's cool is that book, man, it's so different. And the idea why it's so different is that it goes into humanity. And it shows that humanity is worse than any outside force ever. Because it talks about how the rich become very protective of their stuff because the outbreaks of zombies start happening. So what do the celebrities do in this book? Well, they televise themselves. They put cameras in there. They have bodyguards. They have gates outside there. They have ammo, food for years, all this stuff. And they're broadcasting it. And the funniest thing happens with this, where everybody goes, I know where that is.
Yep.
So a dude runs at the gate. It's a steel gate to keep everybody out. And people are trying to climb the walls. And security guards are like shooting them and stuff like that. This guy runs to the gate with an IED and blows himself up to open it up. And then people pour in. And everybody's running. And all the celebrities are like, oh. And they're killing celebrities. Because they're like, how dare you keep this from us?
But
and
that's what would happen. It would be, look what we have. We got to protect it. And then the problem is the number of people who have that and then the number of have-nots is way surmountable.
Oh, yeah.
So it would be like, I mean, it's like every country ever where they realize, oh, shit, well, the amount of people in charge is this many.
Dude.
And there's this many of us. So do we truly want to make a difference or do we want to let these people continue? And then it gets to a point that the large number goes, no, we're done. Flick. Get the fuck out.
Oh, dude, it is exactly like that. This book shows that where when things collapse, people turn into the worst versions of themselves for survival. And then after that is the crazy part because all it comes is blame.
Yeah.
And what's so cool about it is it shows the origin of it, and it's always China. But it was, it's kind of funny because it's based off of some of the things. Max Brooks, who wrote the original book called The Zombie Survival Guide, was a joke.
I swear I've heard that.
Oh yeah, it was New York Times bestseller, and funny. It read like a manual. This is how you protect yourself, and it was just a joke.
Yeah. And
it turned out to be this huge hit, and that's why he wrote World War Z. Huh. But it's cool because the thing that the book points out is that the one thing that humans didn't have before the zombie apocalypse was connection. And when they started to form communities, the communities were at first very superficial. You talk about the ones in like Canada and this girl who's talking about times back then, as she's talking to this reporter, walking around this ice field of zombies that are frozen and just bashing their heads because
they're alive, but
they're frozen. They're in a suspended state.
Killing them while they're
to keep
frozen,
them from coming back. And she's talking about how when they got to these campsites, they were great and it was awesome and everybody was there and it was bonfires every night and people were sharing food, but they were also cutting all the trees down around them to make these fires and all that. And then after about a month, things started to die down. Then they started fighting, and then starvation kicked in. And the only reason why they were so far north because it was cold. It was the only thing that stopped the zombies. So it's like a reverse Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
And so
interesting.
This girl, like one of the scenes in there that was written, I was like, man, that must have been like, he must have put himself in a different place, because the girl's talking about how one night she remembers very vividly that her parents are outside of the camper arguing and yelling at each other. And, you know, the dad saying, but this is only way they'll be able to survive. All this other shit, right? And they fed the food, and the girl was talking about the stew. So it was the best meat she ever had, but they find out later on that they were having to eat the dead. They were eating the
zombies.
Dead. No.
Oh, people that hadn't
dead.
turned.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Because they couldn't figure out, the origin in that book is there were some deep cave divers, and they found an alien craft, and they opened it up. And in there was the virus that they tried to get rid of on their planet and sent it off to bury it somewhere else so it couldn't get them anymore.
Yeah.
And so it overruns this world. And what's really cool about it is that the reflection after is that humans became more efficient. They became more loving and compassionate towards one another.
In real community.
Like, dude, it talks about even their weaponry. Their weaponry changed. They had to. It talked about one where they played Iron Maiden's "The Trooper," that song.
I'm not sure if I know it.
I'll play it for you after this. But they played "The Trooper," the song, when all these zombies were coming. And what was cool is this guy was talking about they made these things called the bolo, and it was half bludgeon weapon, half high caliber rifle.
Okay.
That would explode their heads, so they didn't have to worry about it. Or if it would put them down from the kinetic force. And the guy was talking about how they were just killing zombies for days. And the mountains of bodies that were born. And he was fighting alongside this woman who was a nun. And she was in the nun thing. And she was like one of the most... And they were playing this like music to attract the zombies. Oh, and they came in hordes, and they're like, we're going to fuck them up. Like, it was cool. Like, the evolution of at first was despair and collapse. And then they're like, okay, community, and then starvation. And then they pull themselves back out. And it shows like how societies are with everything. It's kind of funny where it's a zombie book, but it is one of the most philosophical and sociological books I've ever read. It was crazy. And
check it out.
Dude, it's so, because you look at it from a lens of not like a story, but of society. It's like Homer's Odyssey. Like when you read that one, it's
I have on my Kindle to read right now. After I finished that one, I was debating on what I read next, and
it's very Bible-ish. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, the best thing to do, like honestly, I would just have chat like translate it into regular speak. Like, going, hey, dude, make it sound hilarious. Like me. Be like, all right, here it is. But
see, I always go through and read them, like the old books, the weird ones.
They're better
some
though.
Some of them
aren't
are
they?
really fucking hard. There was a book called The Eye of the Eye, and it was the eye, EYE of the eye, like singular. But it goes into frequencies and consciousness, but it goes into like all sorts. It's so hard to read.
love those books, dude. Like,
it was amazing, but it's very technical in science of like all sorts of different stuff that I'm like, oh my God. And that got me into quantum theory and other stuff from it. Yeah. So
isn't that cool? Like just really understanding it on a layman's perspective and then slowly getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Like that's how I got with like arguments, understanding how an argument works. And in like a professional setting, like a straw man and a steel man argument, and all the things that go along with that, the vernacular, what it does is just kind of help shape going, is this an argument or am I just trying to be right? And that's why I learned it, because I find that I try to be right more often and I have to stop myself because it's just in us. We just want to be in the know. It feels good to be in the know. But dude, like I love how you're bringing up the books too, because I've been thinking about that too with games. I got rid of some of the, like I downloaded Insurgency again, but I got rid of it. The reason why is it because it brings something, it's a very addictive game. It's super dopamine hitting. And I want something richer than just dopamine. So I re-downloaded the second part of Final Fantasy VII, and I'm like, it's a story, and I'm like, yeah, there's cute part. I'm like, you know what though? It's a fantasy. Because what happens when I play Insurgency? Heart rate goes up. I start to sweat, and I start to think tactically. And, you play with me. Like, when I'm in the zone, you're like, this isn't fun anymore because you're just going. Like, we're all back here, and you're over there going, where are you guys? I killed everybody.
Oh, I'm always just like, you just have played it so many times that
Dopamine.
move here, move here, move here, move here. And I'm like, all right, I've killed these people now. Where the fuck is the next objective? Oh, okay, it's that way.
That's like
and you're already halfway there by that point.
Well, yeah, because they're too closed. When they're open world, like why we like Ghost Recon so much is because I honestly don't think that I remember always playing the same thing twice. I kind of remember the map.
And I remember certain bases or stuff, but the guys aren't in the same spots.
No.
They're not like it's...
And they act differently sometimes. And that's the cool part. I like that. I like the variety. So I was like, you know what? There's two things I started thinking about while you said that. One is I am going to read a book instead at nighttime where I will typically doom scroll. Actually, one thing I have done because of it, and maybe you've done it too, I don't really... I'll go to YouTube out of habit, but I won't be on it very long, and I'll just turn it off because I'm like, I already know everything there. Like it's more boring than chat. Chat is so interesting to me.
Yeah, I have more ideas, conversations, questions, things that I would much rather go there. And then if there's a specific that I find, it might not be giving me stuff that I go, this might be right or something. Then I go to the internet and I go check something, and I'm like,
you cross check.
Okay, let me check here, let me do this. And then I'm more deep diving past that. If it's like, all right, but yeah, no, that's my problem is, but then I'm going, all right, if I start this isn't a quick thing. I'm going to be doing this, so I need to allocate X amount of time to
that's a good idea, I can do right? Block it out.
Because then it's like, hey, this is my time that I'm going to be
So it doesn't eat your whole day.
It's like work. It's like, this is my time for work. Okay, cool. Well, I'm done working. What do you do when you're done working? Well, you stop fucking working.
I like that. And normally I'm not, but what you're doing is you're setting a deadline.
That's it. It's just a boundary for myself going, I need this healthy boundary because I know if I don't set it, I'm going to work and continue doing stuff till 8, 9, 10, 11, and I'm going to miss the time that I could have spent with my family or that because... Well,
or doing something else.
Yeah.
Like, I know, I mean, a lot of people, like, I got a friend who's constantly, like, he's on social media showing, like, all the time he plays with his kids and hangs out with his kids. And that's great, too. But I am also a person, and I need my time. And the reason why is that I just, if I'm focused on everybody else, I can't work on me.
Oh, yeah. But if you have allocated time of, like, well, this is my time for my family. This is my time for me. This is my time for work. Like, I don't know. There is all of that time.
No, but it's funny because for your mind, I love that, and that's very rectangle-ish. You're like, okay, these are my boundaries. And I love that because for me, boundaries sound like constraint. And I don't like boundaries.
You don't like giving yourself boundaries?
Nope. But what I do like, deadlines. Give me a deadline. Has to be done by then. You have to be done with this by then. You have to be done with this by then. And then if there's free time, all I tell myself is that's your time. You do whatever the fuck you want. Play video games, hang out with anybody. And I've told my kids, if I'm on a game or if I'm watching something and you want me, come get me. And my oldest goes, well, what if you're really into something? And I said, dude, if you need to talk to me, games, how many times have I ever told you after this? Never. Right. Just come get me. I'm totally fine with it. It's not an inconvenience to me. And I've really tried hard to make sure that I keep that. I'm not always good with it. I am in learning. I'm in flux. But at the same time, I want them to know that I want them to be able to do that with their kids if they choose so. But the big thing for me is just like, I like you said, like I want to be more connected, but I'm going to have to ease into that too. I've always seen people like go too hardcore into it and they burn out.
Oh, yeah. Well, because everyone has like social batteries, emotional batteries, even with family.
I think even
especially
harder
with family. And so it's like, all right, I love you. I want to be with you, but
right.
I need to have a certain amount of time. And it's like, so you have your own time. But I think that's totally healthy for people to have their own time. Because in a relationship and family and friends, like, you need your own time. That's healthy. And if you're not taking it, you should. You should find your
100%.
own time. Because if you're not having it, that might be where some of your struggles are coming from. And
also pay attention to the vernacular that you're using with yourself. Like what words you're using. Like where Brandon had said something simple like, these are my boundaries. This is as far as I can go. And to some that works really well. I think those who are very task oriented to like to make sure that things are well taken care of. Like I loved how you did that, dude. I set that box on top of your record player and I loved how you told me your boundary. Hey, I really like that and I want to keep it that way. For me, I don't care about anything other than people.
Yeah.
I don't care about things. But that's not me being like disrespectful or not conscientious of you, but it's more of just like, oh, now I understand that this is valuable to you and this is how you value it. I have no problem. I learned it. I assimilated it and I go, great. No problem. I know that's valuable to you.
Well, and the other one, it's never been an issue. Like I've set shit on my old record player because it was
but this is different.
But this one now I'm like, oh, it's so nice. It's pretty. Like,
well, you enjoy what comes out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you really enjoy that.
It truly makes me feel like a kid again when I had first wired up like all those speakers and I'm laying on the floor and it's like, this is what it feels like to be enveloped by sound. But this now is not just sound, but like really clean, beautiful sound.
Well,
so
the way it was originally recorded.
Yeah.
Right? That's the cool part, is that you get to hear all of the things from the background noise, from the studio to the sliding on the chords.
Vocals,
the vocals are so crazy or better.
Everything is so much crisper. I hear so much more in the songs than I've ever heard before, even with the exact same albums and that. Just the new record player, it was like, holy shit. I have such a deeper appreciation for this song, like for everything.
Dude. It's like, what's his name? Neil Diamond, right? Mm-hmm. Not everybody's a fan of Neil Diamond, I told you.
He still has great music.
But here's the thing with Neil Diamond. Mm-hmm. Neil Diamond is the same every single time he gets on that stage. How many
people are that consistent?
How many can be that consistent?
Not a lot.
Most of them are fake musicians.
Yeah. Well, their instrument is not as fine-tuned. He's someone who has fine-tuned his instrument.
Or somebody else they just have technology help.
That's what I mean. He's fine-tuned his instrument.
Thank you, yes.
Versus most of the others are all auto-tune.
Yeah, that was the one thing that really turned me off about Linkin Park when they first came out. But then later on, I had a friend go to their concert. He goes, dude, Chester sounds amazing. But I saw them when they were very first coming out, their first album.
Was it pretty auto-tuned or pretty brutal?
No, it was just bad.
Oh, shit.
They just weren't good live. And that's the thing. Like, you are, like, the one thing I don't like about Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift. But one thing I will give her is that she puts a lot into her craft, into her training her. And she has help, too. But that
I can imagine.
You can't. It's like Ariana Grande probably has the most crazy range.
Yeah.
And mimicking voices. Like, she's impressive.
Yeah.
And weird, but impressive.
Yeah, weird human, but like she got a really hella cool
But
voice.
that's the thing, dude. Like with crazy gifts like that, you're gonna have to accept the weird. And that's what's been cool lately, man, is I really wanna, like I said before, I'm all about people. Like I care about people, not things. And almost to a fault sometimes. Where like even that, where I did over there, I have to be more conscious of that. I have to go, well, you know what? That's a thing. And that might have more sentimental and emotional resonance than just owning something shiny. If you had all the money in the world and I did that, you'd be like...
No, see, I like to keep my things nice. And I can buy something once and never have to worry about replacing it if I treat it well and I keep it nice.
I see that with some things. Like tools... I definitely do that with tools.
But this record player, for me, can be a once-in-a-lifetime purchase, and I will never have to buy another one.
I think that's cool. For me...
So I'm like, I would much rather have a one-time purchase and certain things where, like a car, where it's not going to last forever. Yeah, there's certain things. But other things, I'm like, could I buy this once and never have to worry about it again?
Yeah, I think the bad thing with mine is that I don't... And this is really hard for my wife. I don't care where I live.
I don't know if I do either.
Is there a bed? Can I cook food?
Like, I mean...
Communal space?
It's always surprising because my home is not big. My home is not fancy. My home is not eloquent.
I love your home.
I love it too.
I think it's great.
I don't care where I live. I don't need the big, the fancy,
It's the people.
My parents had my dad has a stupid big home. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me. And I'm like, the space I have doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, and I realize this in my most depressive moments of like, cool, I'm literally sitting in this box. Because a room, most of the time, is literally just a box.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting here in this box. And what does it matter where this box is? I could be depressed here. I could be depressed in a really big-ass box. I could be depressed in a fancy-ass box. I could be depressed outside sitting in a cardboard box. Like, I could have this same feeling no matter where I'm at. I could choose to feel happy no matter where I am at.
Yeah.
I could find that wherever I'm at. And then it was like, why the hell does it matter? Why does that stuff, that crap, like, why does it matter? Well, what if am I comfortable? Yeah. Am I taken care of? Yeah. Like, well, does it matter? Well, someone else's perception might be different of me. Well, do I care? Do I truly care what that other person's perception of me is? Because if they're giving that perception that matters, then they're probably not that important anyway.
Well, even then, I mean, everybody's important to their own way. It's like
to them, but like, they don't have to be. I can love them, I can care about them, but
no, totally.
They don't have to be important in my life. Of like, I'm sorry, clearly you have different priorities, and your priority is what car you drive and how big your house is.
And I think that's cool.
And I only wear Nike and like whatever it is that you need to make as your brand.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, none of that fucking stuff is your brand.
No,
it's not.
It's the same thing with like the difference between religion and faith. That's the difference between renting and owning. Like, a lot of it is just this perception that we actually have control over what's going to happen. And you really don't. And once you do that, like, you start to realize that my time and connection with others and my positive, like you said, like I talked to this one, you remember Valerie? So Valerie, yeah. Oh, I'm going to do a podcast. Did she? No shit. She reached out to me not long ago and said,
so is everyone else.
Really thinking about doing it. I'm like, cool, we don't do that anymore.
Good luck.
We do ours. But the funny thing is that she's just like, she said to me, well, yeah, other people can really influence how you feel. And I said, I get that. And I said, but what I tell my son is you have the power to make you feel the way you want to feel. Nobody can make you feel anything. Nope. And she says, well, I kind of disagree with that. And I said, well, then that means that it's a preset program and that they're going against it.
Well, and she has no control over her emotions then.
Exactly. Like, you can't allow other people to dictate how you feel. You can say, like, I told my wife, it was a while ago. This was super. And when I told her, like, I'm sure it was a little shock and a little frustration, but at the same time, at least I was being honest. And I was like, look, I'm being a dick right now because I feel ashamed, because I feel like I've really hurt you and I've hurt the family through just my inability and inaction. I said, so I'm a little pissed right now and I need to be away from everybody. I'm going to go smoke a bunch of cannabis and I'm going to come back and I'm going to do something other than worry and I'm just going to be with you guys. Is that okay? And at first I used to really irritate my wife. Now she just asked me, hey, did you go outside yet? I'm like, yeah, I probably should do that. And it's not because I'm you know what? I'm a person. And that's the thing, like with religious people, is they see it as a crutch, but I'm just a person. And you know what? I want to spend my time here doing as well as possible. And if this natural thing can help me feel that way in a better way, because dude, you've said it too, like I'm more compassionate. You're more compassionate. I'm more reflective. I'm open to, I have fixed ideals that are flexible. Simon Sinek said that, and I love that, saying that I can have a belief, but if I learn new information, and that it can be, that it's irrefutable.
You allow it to fluctuate because you're like, I understand that there might be things I don't know. And if I do learn that, then why wouldn't I allow my mind to change if I've learned something new? Yeah. It's like, going science and dogma of like, well, there's dogma even within science. But if
100%.
If there's new information, why would you not allow your mind to go, all right, well, let's take this in?
Yeah, and that's okay to be able. I mean, the thing is, it's in that person. So, what's it going to be? Is it going to be dogma or an idea? And I tend to be able to go toward. I don't like dogma. I think
it's only dogma because dogma is a closed-mindedness. So
this is the way.
Yes. So it's only when you allow that versus, because otherwise it can be an idea. And if you're willing to hear and see and understand and accept other ideas or information and data, it's not a dogma. It's a belief that can always be
Shift.
flexible and fluid. And like, right now this is what it is because my understanding is here. And maybe at one point in my life, my understanding will be here. And maybe at one point my understanding will be here. But right now it's not. And I can't understand here because I'm not even here or here. Like, you can't understand outside of your capacity to understand.
Well, and often I think we are constantly thinking about the future. We're so worried about tomorrow.
That's where anxieties come from.
And that's one of the things, like when Steph and I were talking about something and it seemed really cold, and in retrospect more than likely sounded very cold, but I was trying to break it down in the most logical sense. And I said, she's like, yeah, well, this happened in the past. Like with us? Like, yeah, well, I can't take that back. So I don't know what you want me to do right now. Did I learn from it? Yes. Will I do it again? Hopefully not. But I can't. I will say this, that I have emotions and I'll get upset. What I will do is I will promise I will try harder to call those emotions out and let you know what's going on. And then if I need to remove myself, I will. If I can't reset right there. And she's like, okay. And that's a weird thing to say to somebody because a lot of times it's just reaction that they're expecting. And they can deal with that. They can't deal with, oh, I'm going to try and learn from it. But I'm not going to apologize for something that's already done. I'll say, that was a dick move, or, oh, fuck, I'm sorry I did that. But I don't.
But if you've already apologized, you guys have been, like, it's past. It's
well, what can I do?
Can you do?
If I cheated on my wife, can I tell her I'm sorry? No.
Yeah. Yes.
But what will it do?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, but it won't do any good.
No,
it doesn't erase the action.
The words in that moment don't do anything. You're like, hey, I'm sorry. Well, did you stick your wiener in her? Yeah, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks. That made it all okay. Like,
that's the part where it's like, okay.
It takes time to build trust and stuff after her.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that you said it perfectly right there. Trust is not it's separate from the relationship. It is the action that you create in the relationship.
And there's even trust around certain actions and
100%.
certain things. And it's like, no, I trust them with all of these things, but like, I worry about them here. And sometimes but it's knowing.
That's a good point.
It's knowing and understanding their weaknesses because, I mean, you guys have been together
22 years, yeah.
So she knows who you are on like a really deep level. So she sees that and it's like, no, I trust him for this and this. But then like, I worry in this moment
100%.
here, but that's it. Like, it's not that, but that part of trust is still, there's a hurt around it because it's like, well, shit, this happened and I trust you as my friend, my partner, my this, my that. But like, what about this? And it's these fears that usually it's PTSD, sometimes from childhood or all this stuff that,
in society,
that it sticks with us. And, we haven't figured out the most, God, Emily sent me a book, and I can't think what it's called right now, but I've been listening to it, and it's talking about, like, understanding feelings and stuff way more, and noticing when you feel them and what's causing that, and then I'm like, I don't think most of the time when growing up ever, it was, hey, what am I feeling? Hey, I notice this tightness. I notice this, like, hotness in my face. What's going on? Why am I feeling this? Like, and going back to that root cause, because I don't know if a lot of us try and find that initial trigger of like, hey, there is truly something under, like, this root thing here that is a hurt, a thing that we're still, like, subconsciously, unconsciously, it's there. And we don't know it, but like, do we even notice it after? Because it's like our reaction is the emotion.
Yeah,
but it builds up before that, and we feel it in the body of like this tightness, this, or
because there's no way
racing and stuff.
We're not taught that this is
trained to feel that or train.
Yeah, it's an understand, because I'll tell you this though: those who are in combative arts, there are two different types of individuals. Ones that are really angry and love the violence. The other part, they love the control, and I love the control because I can control others and I can control myself. But one of the things that's really cool is that those ones who continuously practice martial arts, are deep into martial arts, they are the least aggressive people. They are very reasonable, and they try to look for a solution before it gets violent because they know that what others don't, and others don't take into consideration, and it's something I've had to turn off quite a bit, especially in my older age, is that my initial response when I was younger is, we're going to have an argument here. And if you're going to raise your voice to me, you're trying to get in my space. I'm going to take the space. I'm going to take my space and your space. And I'm going to make you understand that you do not disagree with me, or I will fuck you up. And I was taught that in martial arts. Take away their breath, take away their sight, or take away their life. These are the 3 ways to win the fight. That's what my teacher told me. You don't stop until one of those 3 have been achieved. And it was the smartest thing ever because I was efficient. I didn't engage in combat unless they knew. And most of the time, if I had to get in a fight with somebody, they had no clue. They were just popping off. They were mad, maybe watched a couple of videos, hit some mitts, box with their friends in a basement or something like that. And then you'd meet me as somebody who's seasoned and enjoys that and is calm and cool when the fists start flying. And I'm surgical because I'm like, I want to maximize my damage on you because I'm going to break your spirit. Because the next time that you think about fucking with somebody, I want you to touch that hole that used to be a tooth. I want you to touch that bone that was broken and it's still sore when the weather changes. That was my mentality, dude. Like, if I met you, I want to fuck you up. If you want to go against me. And so my arguments were the same way. Verbally, I had to be right. I had to win. And the opening of it going, I don't necessarily have to win. I just have to understand you. I have to understand where it's coming from. I have less anger. But the way I was taught was to win. Period. And that was the 80s and 90s, dude. Like, learning martial arts during that time, it was like fucking hardcore.
It was the 80s and 90s in general, though.
Yeah, it was a hardcore time. It really was.
It was like you play to win. You do things to win. You don't just half-ass or just show up. You are there to win. Otherwise, go home.
Dude, that was all the movies. Every single one. You think about Arnold Schwarzenegger. He won all the time. He got a cut sometimes. Sometimes. Sylvester Stallone always won. Who cares about a movie about arm wrestling? I do. It's called Over the Top, and it's fucking awesome. With Sylvester Stallone, where he starts bleeding out of his nose from the pressure. And the reason why we love those movies is because there was a hero, and you could live vicariously through him. We were so starved for self-appreciation that we lived through movie stars. And now that's why everybody fucking hates them, because they know who they are for real. Before, they used to be fictitious people that lived in cool houses.
Random shit in the tabloids now and then, and now everything is in your face.
I actually feel bad more for actors because they can fuck their lives up in a moment, forever.
Oh, in a second. Because and I'm like, you know what sucks? How many of their stupid things that is publicized and ruins their life is the same shit that like half the people in every society does?
Dude, that's why, like, I saw something on LinkedIn where a guy was like, they had some like get together networking. And one of the comments was probably by far the most cringiest. I see a few billionaires in there. Must not be that bad. That's disgusting.
Must not be that bad.
It's disgusting.
I'm sorry.
And you can hear the woman talking all about connections. That's how you grow your business. And the guy goes, like, that's what
you might
feel.
know a billionaire that's really cool and good, and I personally don't.
Cares.
Yeah. But what about their money or wealth or value is what makes it worth attending?
Well, but I mean,
why does their net worth matter to make
without it? What are they?
Well, in that moment where their notoriety is the amount of money they make, nothing. Because truly you take away that, what are they? Just another fucking person. Dude,
you know what I'd rather be? I would rather be a quiet billionaire than...
I would never want to be known. Nope. Ever.
If I was known, it wouldn't be for money. It would be for helping somebody.
Yeah.
Or helping people. I would never want to be known for my money.
Or that I even have it.
Well, and you think about some of these rich people, like if you compare, let's take politics off the table, but compare Bezos and Elon Musk. I feel sad for Bezos. Have you seen a picture of his wife and him and all the shit he owns?
Mm-mm.
That poor woman has plastic surgery her face into a fucking lion. She looks like a Serengeti lion.
Ah, fierce. Fierce as fuck.
Like, literally, that's what she looks like. And then he looks like he went back in time. He used to look older when he was younger because he still had little hair. And he's like, and he's got plaid on and he's driving a Civic. Now he's like buff, bald, and tan. He has a dick rocket.
What?
And like, yeah, he got like. Do you see Katy Perry went into space? They didn't go into actual space, but they
Just
went
the
to the
atmosphere. Like
They
through
went
the,
past. They went 90 miles, 90 miles up,
Okay.
and everybody was like, "Oh, we didn't see flames from it," because a lot of people thought it was fake, and they're like, "It wasn't high enough. It came down in a parachute. They didn't have a pilot. It was-
Automated?
yeah,
Just up and down.
it got a
real
certain
fast?
point,
Yeah.
and then parachute,
Huh.
and then it was guided. I mean, pretty simple,
Yeah.
and it wasn't space. It's not like space station shit.
No, it's probably like what they do when they did the whatever jets that would be faster. They'd leave just barely out of the atmosphere and come down because it was supposed to be like a much faster travel time.
Concorde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably very similar to that it just goes up a little bit outside and then they drop down. And,
Yeah, it would get like as high almost as the SR-71 Blackbird. The Blackbird goes so high, the whole thing is made out of titanium,
Damn.
and it gets so hot.
That's crazy. Hopefully you guys are crazy high.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea how long we go with this episode.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've been watching the clock, so.
We're an hour and a half.
Yeah, we're an hour and a half. Well, hey, guys, this has been a good riff. What have you guys been thinking about lately? I know we say that a lot, but, one thing I wanted to say, and Brandon, add on to as much, we really appreciate you guys sticking around and hanging out with us every week. I know that there's a lot of new come on there, a lot of legacy people that have been on, probably like, holy shit, I can't listen through all of this, and that's a good thing. That's why we wanted to create more for you.
And there's new episodes every week, so don't even worry.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough for us. We have to talk, smoke
Hang out,
weed.
smoke some weed. It's
We
rough.
gotta get more people on here.
Well, the great prophet Ruth is wanting to come on. We just got to see when's a good time. So,
Dude, let me know.
yeah.
Let me know.
Catch you next week.
Take care, guys.